Hey guys, welcome back to another Warframe video where today we are going to be talking about the helmet, but more specifically we are going to be looking at my most used subsumed abilities throughout my Warframe Done Efficiently series. If you haven't seen that, I would highly recommend it. Go and have a look down in the comments below. I will leave a link to it down there. But yeah, we're going to take a look at the top 3 abilities that I use to help me progress through my playthrough, and hopefully you guys can draw from that. But I want to just put a disclaimer out here right now that the abilities that I'm going to talk about pertain mostly to me. They're the ones that I like to use. So if there are other, subsumed abilities that you guys might like on your frames, then use them. I'm not saying that you have to use these, and I'm not saying by any means that these are the best, in quotation marks, subsumed abilities in the game, although there are a few which I consider extremely overpowered and will probably be nerfed in the near future. But yeah, go ahead and use whatever you are comfortable with, whatever fits your playstyle. I'm just going to be talking about the ones that fit my playstyle and helped me, as I said, progress through my Warframe Done Efficiently series. So if you don't know what the helmet is a tool that you unlock probably midway through the game, I guess, and it allows you to essentially delete a frame, but rather than getting credits back from that frame, you will instead receive a subsumed ability, which is just one ability from that frame, and it will tell you which one you can subsume from it before you get rid of it. And you can then place that ability on another Warframe in place of whatever ability was there originally. And it allows for quite a few nice synergies between different Warframe abilities. So yeah, we're just going to run through my top 3 that I use with a few maybe honourable mentions thrown in, who knows. And then we'll do a round out at the end. And obviously if you guys want to put down what you like to use, or if you found any really nice synergies, put those down in the comments. I'd love to read through them and see what you guys use. But otherwise, we'll probably just hop straight into this and start running through the list. Okay guys, so the first subsumed ability on my list here that I want to talk about is Terrify. Now Terrify is actually one of the first abilities that I ever subsumed through to the helmet during my Warframe Done Efficiently playthrough. It is a relatively easy one to get since you can farm it up from Lephantis, which is just a normal boss on the Origin star system. So you can actually get hold of this ability very easily, and it is a great tool for getting you introduced into Steel Path, largely due to its armor reduction capabilities. You can see there that the armor reduction I've got on this current build, we're currently using Ember, is 97.8%. However, when we combine that with Molt Vigor and use an ability on our operator, we're going to be getting an additional 45%, which will whack this up to a 100% armor reduction. As well as that, I'm also running Nourish on this build, but you don't necessarily need that. It's just going to give me an additional 20% from Reinforced Wellspring. So we'll actually have a decent amount more damage from our 4th ability, which is Inferno on Ember. So the reason that Terrify is obviously so good on Steel Path is due to that armor reduction. It allows you to deal insane damage to targets which previously would take absolutely none due to their high armor capability. And what you got to realize is that in Steel Path, health isn't the problem. It's not how beefy an enemy is. It's about their armor and how much damage reduction they are going to be providing or outputting to your attacks. So using Terrify to strip their armor is a really, really useful tool. And although there are other armor strip, abilities in the game, even Ember has one. She's got Fire Blast, which as you can see does armor reduction between 50 and 100% depending on the range. Terrify is an instant cast. It has the ability to fully strip the armor within its range, which is only 35.25 meters, but every enemy in that range is going to be fully stripped using, a strength at about 200%. So it is a very, very useful tool. So what we'll do, I'm just going to hop in to Hydron, and we're going to do it on Steel Path just to demonstrate that it can be done. Just using Ember. This is an Ember Prime with 0 Former. We do have an Orokin Reactor on here. I also have Energize on, but this really isn't necessary. In fact, I might just take this off just to show you that it's not necessary and just run without it for now. So yeah, this is the build that we're going to be rolling with. As long as your strength is high enough where when you proc Molt Vigor you can get up to about 200%, then Terrify should fully strip the enemy's armor. So yeah, let's hop into Hydron, put it on Steel Path, and start using this Ember build to just clear out defense missions on Steel Path. Alright guys, so one other thing to note about Terrify is that it does make enemies just turn and run away from you, which, if you are early on in the Steel Path star chart, is pretty damn useful to be honest, because it stops them from attacking you, and you get a bit of respite in terms of getting some HP or some shield back. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and start this off. Remember that the armor reduction only lasts for about 5 seconds, so you want to make sure that you utilize that. You can use energy pads as well if you want, if you have access to them, just to make sure that your energy stays up nice and high. So, we've got some Steel Path enemies here, just kind of casually burning to death. Remember that heat damage, so this is actually a particularly strong one for Ember, because heat damage usually does like nothing to armored enemies. But in this case, because we are able to armor strip them, the heat status effect is able to do its thing and just casually and slowly melt enemies. Now this obviously isn't a fast way to do Steel Path defense really. You could quite easily min-max this build a bit more and get it to work a lot more effectively. In fact, let's go ahead and put our hardened wellspring down again. I do forget about that occasionally. But nonetheless, it does serve its purpose. You know, these are what, level 130 enemies. They're basically doing no damage to the defense point because they keep running away. And yeah, they do just casually and slowly die. So if perhaps you are on Steel Path and you are maybe struggling to clear out certain missions, such as defense, then this might be the kind of thing that you wanna look at doing. Just using Necros to strip armor, and then clearing them out as you usually would with a clearance frame. Oh, we got one more over here. Like so. So that's the premise of it, guys. So hopefully that demonstrates that, you know, armor stripping abilities are extremely, extremely useful, particularly in Steel Path. And like I said, Terrify is one that you can get relatively early on in the game to help you out at the very start of your Steel Path gameplay. So let's move on to the next ability. So my next go-to Subsumed ability is Eclipse, which you can get off of Equinox. Now once again, this is another frame that you can farm just in the Origin systems. However, it does take a long time. You need to collect 2 sets of Equinox to be able to actually build her. You need the day set and the night set, and then you combine them to make Equinox. And the reason that I have chosen Eclipse as kind of my second choice here is because, and if for those of you who have followed my channel for a while, you'll know I'm a very, very avid Eidolon hunter. I do Eidolon hunting a lot, and Eclipse is the ability that most Eidolon hunters go to for their extra damage on their weapons. That's what I should point out right now. For anyone who wants to start up the debate between Raw versus Eclipse, if you are looking for damage on your weapons, then Eclipse is probably the one that you want to go to. Now, one thing to note here is that although it shows a damage increase of 415.5%, this is actually the maximum amount of damage that you will be applying to your weapon using Eclipse. It does scale up to that point depending on the light levels that are around you. Now, again, this is another topic for debate in the Plains of Eidolon because obviously at nighttime, the light levels are low. You still do get the damage increase, and people have speculated in the past that it's just very, very, very reduced, almost down to like 10% of the value that you see there. But I've done testing on my channel. I have videos from way back and nothing has changed since then. The only thing that has altered since I last did guide videos on Eclipse is the fact that you can no longer alter how much damage you deal based on the graphics engine you are using. Since before, if you ran the enhanced engine, you could actually get increased damage from Eclipse due to changes in the lighting level. So that is something that is worth noting. The damage increase is not always that high. However, you also gain a damage reduction bonus from this, so it adds a bit of tankiness if you want to stand in a shady place. But otherwise, yeah, it's basically just for the massive increased damage. So I think what I'll do to demonstrate this, I'll actually hop into the plains and we'll just kind of dot around a terror list real quick and show the difference in damage when just shooting a limb with and without Eclipse on this Eidolon hunting build that I have used for God knows how long now. So yeah, without further ado guys, let's quickly just hop into the plains and see what we can demonstrate. Alright guys, so I've just taken an Aros here, you know, just to stay alive so I can demonstrate this, and now I'm doing exactly the same thing as I actually did the last time I demonstrated Eclipse's damage. So I've just hopped on, you know, to normal, not steel path, but just normal planes here, and I've got a Rubico, which has no mods on it except one crit mod so that we can get our crit chance up to 95%, so we're basically guaranteed a critical hit every single time. It's going to help us, you know, judge the damage a bit better. I've also got Unairu one and not Madurite, so let's go ahead and get ourselves a cheeky Unairu Wisp, and then we can go ahead and take down the shield. Like so. So let's go ahead and shoot one of the limbs here without our Eclipse on and see what kind of damage we do. Let's try and manage these vulnerabilists as well. So, 62. And as our combo counter goes up, that's going to increase. So on 2 times it's 73. And at 2.5, it was, what was that, 83 or 82 or something? 83. Yep, cool. Alright, so, nighttime on the plains. Let's see how much extra damage we get. Let's go ahead and again just manage the enemies around here. In fact, it's probably better to use our operator to handle them, since we don't have any mods on our sniper. Let's go ahead and activate our Eclipse now. As you can see in the top right there, on this particular build, it says we've got 266% extra weapon damage. Probably not the case, given that we're only in the moonlight, but before on 2.5 times we were hitting 83, and now on 2.5 times we're hitting 219, 227, depending on where we stand. I think the further away you get from the Eidolon, maybe, because it does emit certain levels of light, but it doesn't make too much of a difference, as you can see. So we've more than doubled the damage output on our Rubico right here. Now, if you were to take Raw, obviously Raw takes a bit of a nerf from the damage bonus that it applies when you subsume it. So it would only apply really, even if you had very high, you know, crit chance, decent amount of crit chance, you could probably get up to 70 or 80% maximum additional damage. So for weapon damage, not frame damage, but weapon damage, Eclipse is a very, very powerful tool. And it's also a very, very fast cast as well, as opposed to Raw. So if I was to do this, it's already on. It's very fast. So yeah, hopefully that kind of demonstrates why I like to use Eclipse for Eidolon hunting. You know, it's not totally dead on the plains. It still does do more than double your damage. So yeah, point in case. Alright, let's move on to the next ability. Alright guys, so the last ability that I want to talk about here is going to be Nourish, and Nourish is the ability that I use most often during my Warframe Done Efficiently playthrough, or I did use it most often during my Warframe Done Efficiently playthrough. And the reason being is that whenever I come to modding a frame and I'm unsure about what ability to put on that frame, I generally default to Nourish. It provides so many different buffs, and they're centered around both utility, damage, and also crowd control. It's just almost a no-brainer, and this buff, in my opinion, right now is incredibly, incredibly broken. I know it's been talked about a lot already on social media, on YouTube, whatever, but yeah, this ability synergizes so well with so many different frames that it's kind of, it is broken, and I would not be surprised if the developers decided to nerf this in the future. So, you know, if you are watching this 4 or 5 months down the line and this ability isn't as strong as I'm making it out to be now, then it's probably been nerfed. So yeah, let's kind of just run through what this provides. What I want to say to begin with is that Grendel isn't the easiest frame to farm up. He's one of the harder ones to get your hands on, and if you do want to have a Grendel alongside having his Subsumed ability, then obviously you're going to have to farm him twice, and that's going to be a bit of a pain. So worth noting, not the easiest ability to get Subsumed, unlike Eclipse and Terrify, like we spoke about. But yeah, let's roll through these real quick and just kind of discuss what kind of buffs these provide and why it is so broken and synergizes so well with so many different frames. So let's take a look at the start here. So the description says that enemies that attack or are attacked suffer viral damage up to 1 stack, and energy sources provide more energy. Now, if you're playing Grendel, that actually goes up to 10 stacks, not 1, but 1 stack is enough for us. It's just fine. So these buffs also extend to squad mates as well. So that's another something in favor of Nourish, is that you can use it to support your teammates. and everyone gets it. So big bonus there. Now, what's important to note about the wording of that first paragraph is that it's just enemies that attack or are attacked. It's not down to primary weapon damage, secondary or melee. It's literally any attack that an enemy takes or any attack towards you, they will take viral damage. Now, what also happens when we take damage is that we emit an explosion. And you can see down there towards the bottom of the buffs an explosion radius and damage. That has about a 2-second cooldown. So anytime that you take damage, you will emit an explosion in a radius of 12 meters around you that deals 525 viral damage and inflicts a viral proc to those targets. Now, alongside that, you can see we also get some additional health and also damage. However, I believe that that is specific to Grendel. You guys can correct me down in the comments below if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the damage bonus you get along with the health is specific to Grendel. So yeah, let me know about that. I could be wrong. The duration, again, just duration. You also have an energy multiplier, which will multiply the amount of energy you get from any energy pickups that you receive, bar energy pads. So if you were to pick up just a 25 energy orb, you would actually get, in this case, on this build, about 3 times, so about 75 to 80 energy. So that's really useful. Utility right there. You also just get a general viral damage increase on your weapons. So an additional 157% viral damage. And bear in mind that when you attack targets, they will be guaranteed to take a viral proc. And that is very important in this ability, because viral damage essentially is going to double the damage that you can deal against said target. That's essentially what viral does. That's what you want to be thinking about it in your head. The more viral stacks you want to give a target, the more damage it's going to take from you. So, you know, ramping up viral stacks against an enemy is going to hugely increase the damage output that you can deal against them. Now, you may remember earlier when I said that obviously in the wording of this, it just says attack or are attacked to suffer viral damage. That's not only going to apply to your weapons, as we said, it's going to apply to Warframe abilities as well. Now, there's a few fun little synergies, and I've explored some of these in my recent Duviri max out videos, where we've maxed out specific frames, and this is a bit of a spoiler for next week, but I've got Garuda here, and I've got Nourish on my Garuda. And this is obviously going to apply to our Seeking Talons as well at the end here, which has a 100% bleed chance on this particular build, and it's also going to apply viral stacks every time that a needle hits a target. So they're going to take so much bleed damage, it's just going to be absolutely crazy. And this works for other abilities as well, so it's quite nice with any frames that can provide kind of allies or, you know, their own spectres, like Wukong has his clone. Revenant, in particular, if you saw my video on Tuesday, has his thralls. You can give them the Nourish buff, which not only means that they can apply viral stacks to other enemies, but when they get hit, they also explode in a viral explosion in a radius of 12 meters. So this really does pair nicely with quite a few different things, and generally it's just a very useful tool that I've used a lot. I use just so much throughout my playthrough because it does help so much, and I feel very sorry for people in the future if you are unable to make use of this buff, because it is just so useful. So yeah, let's go ahead and maybe just show this off in action. I'm not sure the best place to show it, but I'm sure I'll think of something. We'll definitely be doing something on Steel Path, that's for sure. And then yeah, we'll probably round out the video, just do a few honourable mentions, and then yeah, like I said, we'll round out the video. So I'll see you guys in a second. Alright guys, so I've come on to Hydron again, and we're just doing defense. You can see I've got a few thralls here. If I activate my 4th, you can see that they have been now given Nourish for a bit, and anytime they get shot, the enemy that shoots them will take a quick viral proc, and also become a thrall themselves. As you can see here, this guy's now got 3 viral stacks on him, and it's basically just going to keep building up like that. Now the main benefit from this type of build, where I'm using Revenant obviously, is that the enemies are going to just do their own thing. They don't really care about me. I can just make a thrall, the enemies will attack him, and then make more thralls. And yeah, you can see everyone's kind of getting staggered. There's just viral explosions occurring as the enemies kind of come in. And yeah, they can kind of just do their own thing. They're not going to attack me, I can just wipe them out as we go. So it's very, very useful in that sense. Now obviously, Revenant being the kind of frame that he is, it synergizes well with him. I'm not gonna lie. Like the enemies that just get viral procced, as you can see, it's like there's just no hope. And I can use Arcane Anomaly as well to kind of drag these guys in to where the thralls have exploded, if I want. But yeah, it's very, very, very good. And obviously my energy is going to remain at full no matter what I do, because Nourish basically means that any energy that I pick up is just going to fill up my my energy pool to maximum. So yeah, if you are struggling to complete Steel Path defense missions, I would recommend playing around with Nourish, because yeah, it can really help. And also, you know, a frame like Revenant really helps as well. Now, a few shout outs to some other frames as well. You saw me there with Garuda at the start, using her 4th ability, as we said. That is also going to apply viral stacks from Nourish. Mesa, using her 4th, her Peacemakers, is also going to apply viral stacks from Nourish. So, you know, there's plenty of options out there that you can use to do this. So just bear that in mind, you know, whenever you get to a point where maybe you're a bit unsure of which frame to use, or which ability to subsume onto your frame, maybe just think about Nourish, because it's pretty powerful at the end of the day. And yeah, you can pretty much use it on any frame. It synergizes in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, that's kind of all I want to talk about right now. Viral procs for everyone and increased damage. Happy days. Let's round out the video quickly and yeah, give a shout out to those honourable mention abilities that we were talking about before. Alright guys, so hopefully this video has given you an idea as to what kind of subsume abilities I used in my playthrough. Those 3 main ones basically carried me through the whole game. I really didn't subsume many others, but I just want to give a quick shout out now to a few that you might want to consider, or that I actually used in certain circumstances throughout my playthrough. So let's just jump into the helmet real quick and have a look through. So the first one that I want to shout out is actually from Protea. It's the Dispensary. And this is a very, very good utility-based ability. It can drop energy orbs for you if you're running out of energy. If you just want something to maintain your energy, Dispensary is a pretty good go-to. And it synergizes well with things like Arcane Energize, because obviously you'll get an energized proc when you pick up an energy orb. So yeah, it's very good in that sense, and for support frames like maybe Wisp or Trinity or something, this is a really good option. Another one that I want to shout out real quick is also actually Master's Summons. Now, if you've watched my resource farming guide, you know that I like to use Master's Summons. If you're someone who farms solo on Steel Path, using Korra or Necros or whatever, and you have a problem with your cat constantly going down, and you're really, really lazy, Master Summons is a great tool. You can just instantly revive your pet, and you don't have to spend time or waste time reviving your pet when you could be farming more resources. So this is another one that I have used quite a lot in my playthrough whenever I've done, you know, Korra farming. I always have it on. And even if I'm in a squad, I'll always have it on, because it saves my teammates time and effort as well. Having this, I can just instantly revive my pet. It's great. Would recommend. The last one that I want to give a shout out to as well is Zarta's Whisper. This is an ability also which I have used throughout my playthrough, and synergizes very well with the Incarnon weapons that came with, not Duviri, but Zariman, as essentially it kind of just doubles their damage. I think it's a bug, I'm not totally sure. And it also provides you with a great deal of void damage, which actually resets any resistances gained to a particular element. So it's a good tool, and it also provides a magnetic bubble around the target which attracts pellets. So if you're using a shotgun, it can be pretty damn useful for kind of concentrating damage into one specific target. But yeah, those are kind of the main 3. Obviously, there are others. I'm fully aware that there are others that people like to use, like Condemn for extra energy. You know, you've got Golden Instinct if you perhaps want to find some rare crates. You've got Gloom, another very good one. You can synergize this very well with Banshee, for example, as it increases the stagger duration from her 3rd ability, Silence, which allows you to get stealth kills very quickly. Great subsume right there. And yeah, Null Star, the one from Gauze, which I am forgetting the name of, Thermal Sunder, really good one as well. A lot of people run this on Titania to clear out, low-level defense missions. It's a very good option. There's plenty out there, guys. I'm not going to go into all of them. I just thought I'd show you which ones I used most throughout my playthrough, and maybe you guys can draw inspiration from it. But like I said at the start, if you guys have any of your own specific builds or little synergies that you know of, feel free to leave those down in the comments below. I would love to read through them and test them out for myself. It's what I play Warframe for, finding these builds. So yeah, throw those down below. Otherwise, guys, if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. I'll see you later, guys.